It'll say
Nobody's
live.
going to know.
Uh-oh, someone's phone.
That was me.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
God, we got 7. Whoa.
Woohoo!
It jumped on fast tonight. So how's everybody doing tonight? Tonight we have Adam, the Black Swamp Medium, and Carmen. You need a last name that's catchy. Like the
Well,
what?
she does. She's
No,
got
like,
a last name.
I know, I'm saying, but it's not as cool as like the Black Swamp Medium.
Well, Carmen and I will work on it.
Yeah.
Why can't I work on it?
Yeah.
Well, Adam, you can too.
The Witch of Eastwick.
Well, wait, the three of us can put our minds together and we'll come up with something. How about that?
Yeah, leave me out. It's been trying to leave me out of this whole show.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's been crazy. So yeah, everybody, just so y'all know tonight, Dana is going to actually kind of, run the show. Who knows if it
So
if it
that
goes
means
good, I
you
may
have
go
to
watch
pay
it in the living
attention
room.
to comments this time.
I always pay attention to comments.
you don't.
Once they're on.
Is this why
Yes.
Jeff is sitting further back and Dana's more forward?
See?
Better light?
See. No,
Yeah.
I actually were laughing because we just had, you can ask Carmen, we had this discussion before we got on, how I get shoved in the corner. So I'm always super close up and he's back farther. And his excuses is because he's by the soundboard. But I'm like, yeah, where I'm at, I can't move. Plus I have to be up close. And then when the dogs come in, then I'm like, and I can't move. So it's like, yeah, right. So he just has me blocked in a corner for a reason, apparently.
So who else in here? So we got Dawn. Dawn's in from Adam. You remember Dawn? She was the one that went to the school with us from California.
Yeah.
Rachel's here tonight. How you doing, Rachel? Lisa. Sue is here tonight. No cards tonight, Sue. Busha's here tonight. Rebecca Blank.
Kelly.
Who's
And-
Rebecca? I'm sorry. We
Friend.
got some. Oh, one of your. Okay, I was gonna say I know we got some new people started following last week and stuff like that. So I don't, it's kind of cool now that I don't know the names of everybody. Like I don't know who's watching anymore. Like,
That's okay. We'll get to know them.
It's good. Yeah. Yep. Don's here tonight. Kelly's here tonight. And so I'd say let's get started. This is Dana's show. She said she wants to do it. So
It's not just my show. It's our show.
I'm
But
gonna
I told
play
him
Pac-Man.
he does have a question he wants to ask. But I told him he has to ask the question at the end because if he does, he'll get into a discussion with you and Adam, and I won't get another word in. So I said you have to wait till the end of the show. So it's like there. So today is 11/11, which Adam has posted about that earlier. So who's had craziness or odd stuff happen today?
Ladies
Adam's
first.
laughing.
Ladies first.
I've had something crazy happen. My show got hijacked.
Yep. See, I know for me today at work, I've been very anxious and like I could not concentrate. But then every time though I would lose focus, it was losing focus on work, but it was a good focus because it was like almost like an opening, like a spiritual opening. So it was really odd. And that's the first time I've ever had that happen where it was more of an enlightenment than it was like I daydreamed a lot at work apparently, but it is what it is. And I've been crazy busy at work. So it was kind of nice as well. So.
Rachel says her dryer died today. Well, that's not good. We have a new viewer here that
Yeah, Jeff says
has a question.
he can answer his question later. He's gonna do this the whole show. So, for Carmen, did you have anything crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had that anxious feeling today too, and little tightness in the chest, just kind of like almost like an adrenaline panic attack kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But that's kind of gone away now. Just a lot of moments of having like really intense like emotions, but they don't come out. It just goes like in my brain and out.
Yeah.
And then like a feeling of excitement. I had a really good conversation with a good friend and for like 2 hours, and it was just like hyping each other up. We were talking about business and energy work and all these things that we've come to learn through shadow work and stuff. So it's been a weird day. I mean, a good day, but it's been a lot of ups and downs.
How about you, Adam?
It's interesting because I had this conversation long before the show actually went live with Carmen. It's been weird for me this year, especially since once we got into the summer, that a lot of the astrological events that we do end up having, I'm always having the opposite effect. So today, and I see like what Don's asking about, what's the significance of today. So a lot of it has to do with, following your dreams, throwing things out there, love and healing and just, really putting out there the things and goals that you're really after. And it's odd is that I woke up, I was okay. And then like maybe half an hour into being awake, just everything fell apart. It was just, I mean, I had aches and pains that were showing up in different parts of my body. Like, I have a weird Achilles tendon thing going on right now that when I wake up in the morning, I can hardly walk. And then I had,
did you get the vaccine?
We don't discuss that stuff on air.
Okay. Well, let's say this. I've had some, just throwing it out there, I've had some weird leg issues ever since I've gotten that vaccine. I'm dead serious. The fronts of my legs, my shins, and the top of my feet have been cramping.
Oh wow!
Like 2-3 times a week at least ever since then.
I can tell you when we get done off there, I can tell you something to do for your Achilles tendon because I had an issue before with it, and I don't have an issue with it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the funny. Well, and it's real fast. I mean, if I stretch it out and I start walking on it more and more, it eases up, and then I'm, after a little bit of that, I'm good to go. But it's just been a weird thing. But I sleep, where your feet are like mostly flexed in one direction too long, and then I wake up and it's all like that cramped up and. Yep. But it's just been a weird thing recently. But like Carmen too, I've had some anxiety. In fact, like an hour or two ago, I was really hit hard, and I don't know where it came from, but there's a lot on my plate. I've got things going on like crazy going on. This weekend, I have a big event going on, and so I'm thinking about that, and it's just crazy. So it's been a wild day, but at the same time, it's been pretty. It's gotten better. Now that we're, we got into the evening, like I'm enjoying things. Earlier I posted when I wanted to capture it perfectly was that, obviously November 11th, 11/11, but I wanted to get the time perfectly. So 11 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. So
and you did.
And I will be staying up for the PM version of it too.
So. I saw that. I was at work and I was laughing. I was like, only Adam would get that. I said, I could just see you sitting there and just waiting and waiting, just like bam.
So is it an actual
sequence of it?
Is it an actual astrological thing, or is it? What?
Not the specific. Or is it
just weird because it's all ones?
It's not the specific of the time that I did it. I just wanted to see ones everywhere, but mostly just for the fact that, and Carmen can back me up, that, the 11th month, the 11th day, that's the importance of it all.
Okay.
And I've noticed though, too, whenever there's a month that you have like, say 12/12, anytime it's like, I always have something like, there's always something that goes with that. Somebody at work, they think I'm crazy. And I'm like, no, I know. And because of something, I'm like, no, it's just because it's the day. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's just things happen like that. And that ironically weird though, with it being 11/11, do you know what number because I deal with numbers a lot at work. Do you know what number appeared like multiple times today, which is really kind of freaked me out a little bit, was 666.
Yes. Oops.
Yeah, I was like, seriously, I'm like 66. I had that. I probably dialed that number or those 3 numbers in like a phone number probably about 4 or 5 times today. When I looked up account numbers, there's probably about 20 that had 666, and it was like, and then I had to start doing a recall. And every single one of them in their account number 666. I was like, are you serious? I'm like, why today? I'm like, but it was just really odd that I kept seeing that number today.
Should I read it for you real quickly?
Yeah.
There you go.
So 666 tells the ability to use the imagination and intellect combined to bring about positive outcomes. When the sixes appear repeatedly, your angels or guides are telling you to be aware, to balance your thoughts, worry, or concerns about material and financial issues with a focus on faith in the spiritual world. A positive vibration and focus will bring about positive results.
Wait a minute.
So it's not evil
No.
and demonic things.
You just broke Jeff's heart.
I did.
Wait a minute here.
That is exactly why I did that.
I'm going to get my book.
I
Satanic Bible.
I know it because I know all the numbers when people think they're certain ways. I know it's like I don't always know what they actually, but I know it's not a bad thing to see them. But I was just like, seriously. I mean, today was like, I said, is it just because? Well, I am going through a lot of changes, like at home, because we are. I used to have a side business that I'm actually getting rid of, and so we can focus more on the boo production side of everything. And it's crazy because
she started a podcast as well.
Yeah, I started a podcast. Go
Today,
figure,
this
right?
episode 1.
And so it's crazy because it was like, and so it's been that everything you just said, that's exactly what's been going on today with everything. And then, like I just told you, with me not being able to focus at work, because then when I do, what happens? Boom, it's all everything else coming inside here. So it's been one of those crazy days.
That's my father, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say that. Wait, I know who that is from watching your podcast. So we did have, I think it was Kelly who asked some questions earlier that she wanted me to ask, and she wanted me to find out about how old were you guys when you realized you had abilities. Either of you can answer.
Carmen, you go first.
All right.
It's your turn.
So I was really little. I didn't know what it was. I was always just told I had a good imagination and, it was a lucky guess or whatever. But it wasn't until I actually was like late teens that I put like a name to it, where I wasn't just feeling like I was going crazy, But yeah, it's pretty much my whole life, just getting used to it and figuring out what it was. And that was years.
When did you start to embrace it? Because weren't you kind of hesitant at first?
See, he's stepping in.
I'm sorry.
That was another question. Jeez, so Pete.
Yeah, I wasn't.
That's a good one, though.
Question. But that was a follow-up question.
I'm working on my interviewing skills.
Apparently, yeah. And see, we're laughing because I always tell him, I said, it's fine because he usually takes care of it, because I usually do all the comments and that, and I'm not a problem. But I said, this one's mine here. Oh, wait, did you respond to everybody that said hello?
Yeah, I said hello. Oh, except for Harold. Hi, Harold.
You actually responded on your phone and said hello to every single one of them.
No, I just said it.
Yeah, see?
It's much more efficient.
So he's not doing my job today like I normally do. So my job is, I guess, really important on this side, right? But just one time, let me do it on this side. Oh, there's Kevin. Okay, so Adam, go ahead and answer your question.
Jerry's here.
So,
hello, both of you.
I mean, those who've ever seen me, and there's my teammate Ron. I mean, I'm a late bloomer. You know what I mean? I did have some psychic things happen, which was probably the first early glimpses during the 80s. And they were things that were, happening to me. And I'm not going to go into those stories because they'll take a while, but they happened to me. And it was like, that was really weird. But, during the 80s, we all know, for those of us that are up in age, that things were taboo. You just didn't talk about certain things, and paranormal encounters and UFOs and things of that sort. You just didn't touch it because you got kind of like picked on or made fun of and things, and so you just didn't say it. And I never said anything to my family and things, but when it would happen, it was just like, holy smokes, this is kind of wild. So fast forward a number of years, it wasn't until I got out and got married And then it was the year after we got married that we took some classes of just doing basic outdoor survival classes, but the same school taught a class called Shamanic Journeys, which was learning to get in touch with your spirit guides and angels. And I immediately jumped on it because it just had this pull to it. And as soon as I did it, it was like the whole different world opened up. And so learning how to talk to my guides, I did that for 7 years. And then I eventually opened up a mediumship door because I seen the paranormal shows and those were happening throughout the 2000s and stuff and still. And it was just one of those things that I just embraced it because I knew that was my calling then. You know, it was just that feeling. You just know that's it, that there's nothing you can, sidetrack. I mean, I have to do this. This is what I need to do. And so it's just been nonstop since then. And I've been loving every moment of it.
Yeah. So for me, like mine's more new. Like in the last probably 3 years that I had things happen prior to that, but I've always just pushed it off and thought like, okay, if I say anything, people are going to think I'm crazy. So I never said anything about some of the things that would happen, but it happened about 3 years ago. I actually met my twin flame and that sparked everything. And like, literally, if I know when they are close by, and it's and we don't talk anymore because when I said it was that person was brought into my life to get me through a certain time, and now I don't need him. And it's just crazy because but I can still tell, like when we're like in the same area close, I can tell. It's like really weird. It's hard to explain it, but it's like you can just tell. But everything's new to me. And as you know, I keep coming to you and Carmen. It's like with lots of questions, and I've been reading some of my books now. So it's like, I'm starting to really start getting on track. And some, like one of the follow-up questions later on, but we can even do it now, is that I do the Reiki sessions with Carmen, which Carmen, the last one I did was the first one. I think my first one that actually I was not like all out of whack.
Finally, your wedding.
Yeah, and it was right before the wedding, which was even more surprising. But I was actually the first time not out of whack with that, because usually there was always something that was really that I really need to focus on. Can you guys we'll have Carmen explain a little bit more about the Reiki? Not everybody knows. Apparently I need to be adjusted. Not everybody knows what Reiki is, or balancing the chakras. So we'll let Carmen explain a little bit about that.
Okay. So I don't usually use like a traditional Reiki. I honestly only took like the first Reiki class. So I've kind of just adapted my own version of it, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain unless you have it done to you, I guess. But basically what I do is I feel the chakras, and then I can kind of tell like what's going on in each one. And I usually talk about it with the person, and then I go through and do a cleansing.
When you do your massage therapy, do you kind of go into that Reiki mode, and when the customer is not there for that, and all of a sudden you're having to like try and shut that down because you're feeling like, dude, you're messed up, something like that?
I used to. That used to happen a lot, where it was really hard because when you're touching someone for an hour, you're in their energy, and like things are gonna come if you don't shut it down. So it was really hard at the beginning because there's clients that I knew had no interest in mediumship or energy work. Even
like you had with Jeff, before Jeff and I, it was like right when I started talking with Jeff. I think he had a massage with you, and you were just like, yeah, this one's, and it's like, yeah. And I actually had somebody else tell me I was gonna Jeff was gonna come in. No, there was a Jeff in my life, and I was like, yeah, no way, because that's the girl's dad. No way, I won't date a Jeff. Nothing. And then 6 months later, here comes Jeff. So
No, I only got one massage from Carmen, and I swear to God, at one point she was walking on me.
it hurts so but it feels so good. And then I know that Adam, you do a different type of Reiki. Yours is more like Native American style.
Correct. Yeah, I mean the differences between the Native American style that I learned and Reiki is really, it's just the setup of it. So it's not so much of the end result is still the same, and the energy work that's done is still the same. There's just very minor differences, which is really not that big a deal. But in a way, basically, what we do is we're using the energy that is all around us, that is below our feet, that powers the entire earth, so to speak. And so there's a way that you just harness that, you channel it through you to your client, to the person that is asking for it.
And I know that is true, because with Carmen, even like the last one, this was like the most crazy one I had with her. Like, I literally, wherever she had her hands, I mean, I could feel the energy just trembling. And it was just like crazy. I think that's probably been the first time I've ever had, like, I would get like a little tingly here and there, but not like it was going like pulling through my entire body everywhere. I mean, I could tell exactly where she was at all the time. So it was just like really crazy. But I'm telling, if you have not had a Reiki session, it really does help to get you focused on where you need to go, especially if you're starting out and wanting to find the journey. It's like, that is the perfect place to go, because I found that after my first Reiki session I ever had, it was enough guidance to start getting me to where I needed to go. And now look at me. I'm really starting to focus more on where I need to.
I've got a question about that. So we all know, and we all like to bust his balls, but our friend Harold, did you know that he's certified to do Reiki as well?
Yeah.
Who's signing up for that class first? Or for that session first? No, I love that man to death, but I don't know if I want his OCD energy.
Yeah.
Or sorry, ADD energy.
But that's just it. So when you're
the best.
What's that?
Don't you think he'd probably be the best? Because he would shut all of that down.
Oh yeah.
I think he's looking to his little follower. I think he's looking to pass that off onto me. So I'd be afraid to sit in one of his Reiki sessions.
Harold actually just
come home with an attachment.
Harold just asked, have either of you met Lady Carolyn from Light the Way?
No.
That's hilarious. I have not met her. I don't know. I'm not sure or aware of it. I mean, maybe he's told me about her before, but I don't remember.
What is
I don't
Light
think
the
I've ever
Way?
met her.
Did you guys know what Light the Way is?
Yeah.
What is it, Carmen?
I think it's like a storefront. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like.
She was a teacher.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he does know what he's talking about. And
I was gonna say, I swear, I think I've talked to him about it, but I we've had so many conversations that something you just never know.
No, I know. And Harold too, like he's definitely a lot more spiritual than he lets on.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to talk about it. I know that for a fact, but I mean, I've seen him in moments where, he's doing a house blessing or something like that, or a cleansing. And it's like, man, dude, you are way more in tune than you let on to be.
Well, and that's when it's time to do your thing. I mean, for me, you guys know me. You guys have seen me you've known me for years now. I mean, I like to have a good time. I'm going to make you guys laugh, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. And so everything else is out the window, and our focus is whatever is right in front of us. So
that's what I told Chris McKinnell last week when we had him on, because it was like, man, if that dude looked at our Facebook page, he's seeing drinking at the wedding, he's seeing Halloween drinking party show. It's like, so I had to make it a point, I guess, to tell him, like, look, dude, like, I mean, we joke around with stuff and have fun, but when a client calls, it's game on. It's not, we don't go have drinks with a client.
People don't realize, I think people don't realize too, though, we don't always everything on our show is like what we can share. There's a lot of things that we do that we can't share. Yeah. And so a lot of people don't realize that we do have private cases that we never talk about, and we'll never talk about on air unless they're given permission. So, I mean, people don't realize that. Oh my God, Harold.
No, I mean, you can't control death, I don't think, with Reiki.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
Harold, okay.
It's probably not funny, and I feel horrible for laughing.
Oh my God.
It is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. Oh. Yeah, I healed this lady, and she died a week later. Like, oh shit.
I used to work for hospice doing massage for them. And the girls started calling me the angel of death because I would always, I would do their massage and do energy work with them. And I would tell them like, it's okay to go. Like a lot of them were scared. A lot of them were hanging on for no reason.
Oh,
and
wow.
The next week when I'd go to get my schedule, they weren't on it anymore, you know?
Well, there is ways to that. I mean, I did learn the techniques of helping somebody cross. It's probably not the thing I've ever talked about publicly before, so this is a first for me, but there is ways to do it, and I've been asked a couple times to help.
Yeah,
you know, and it's not like you're the one pulling the plug.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening. What you're doing is you're basically helping their soul finally accept the fact that your body has done everything it could.
Yeah.
And now you're helping the soul finally do what it needs to do in moving over. So it's not something I take lightly. You know, like I've only done it a few times, but it is what it is.
And it's crazy because when I worked as an STNA, I worked with some hospice patients as well. And I mean, when you see them daily in a nursing home and they don't have a lot of family that come to see them, I mean, I would get to the point that I'm like, when I would be in there with them, I'd be like, you know, it's okay. If you're ready, it's okay to go, because I mean, just for them hanging on. And and the last couple of times I would do that, then it would be like the next day I'd come in for my shift and they'd be gone. It's like almost like they had to have somebody just say it was okay.
Well,
and it's just crazy.
My mom, my mom was in hospice for a couple days, and like right before she passed away, I don't know if this helps or whatever, but like they were actually playing in the room like this soundtrack that was basically saying, come over to the light and cry. You know, I mean, it was, at the time I didn't really, but I thought about that later. I was like, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or weird, but it was just, you know, that they just played it. They didn't ask, they just played it. It was. Now
I'm calling my sister out on this one, because my sister, she hates it because she can sense when somebody is like, she senses a few days before when somebody's going to pass away, and she absolutely hates it. But that's her way. That's her thing. And so when my uncle was in hospice and we had him at home, like she saw like shadow figures, like a few days before. And then, but once we all said it was okay for him to go, he finally passed. And it was like, it's just crazy that they just need that little bit of permission, and you don't know. I mean, you never know who it's going to be that has to be that final okay for them to go. So.
Unfortunately for my mom, it was my stepdad. She like waited, and he was of course running late as always. And you know, she passed about 2 minutes after he got there. So it was
just
everybody had gotten there and it was time to go. You know, it was so she hung on till.
Okay. So this is something that because I know some of the answer on this. When you guys are out and about, I know I get that crazy feeling. Like sometimes I just don't want to be out because I get mad rushed. I know somebody asked me on the side, they wanted to know, how can you turn off when you feel like you are getting just rampant.
You had that happen recently. Well, not, I mean,
I've had
a few months
happen.
ago, but it was really, really bad at a bar. Like you were like, you got to take me home.
It was, bars are bad for me. Seriously, I don't know how this happened. I was like, when in my 20s, I was in the bar like 4 times a week, probably. And now I can't stand going into
for the
one.
record. I said more than me for the record.
Yeah. And I mean, like literally, I
literally
cannot stand bars anymore. I can go in for a little bit, but I just cannot. I mean, it just is overwhelming for me. But I know I'm slowly learning how to turn it off. Sometimes it's way too overwhelming, but I still get in like big places. I still like shopping. I used to love shopping. I don't like shopping anymore either. Amazon is my friend anymore because I truly do not like shopping. So how do you guys turn it on and off? Because I mean, even in the bigger, I mean, I can get it to stop a little bit, but it's still, I can't get it completely to just be like, stop.
I know for me, I'm terrible at math. And so I try to like think of math problems, and all my brain is focused on trying to do math. And nothing else can. It's like switching from your left brain to your right brain.
Yeah.
So like a coping thing, and if you're like if you're in the store, like you were just saying, you could add up your groceries in your head. You know,
Yeah.
try and keep track of that or something like that. That might be a.
Yeah, it's just switching brain, right brain for me, just to kind of shut it off, because yeah, I can't be around a bunch of people. Even sometimes when it's just 2 or 3 people, if something's going on, I don't like being around, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, what was neat is again, when I started taking the classes of learning to connect with my guides, you know, it was the way it was designed and where it was passed down was the fact that when you were ready to do something, you opened up, you went right to where you needed to go. Once you got what you needed to know, you backed out, you closed up and moved on. And it wasn't specified as far as how it was to do it, but eventually, like, I tried to come up with a way to explain to people that made more sense. And so what I tell people all the time is that for me is, in my mind, all I see is literally a light switch. It's just a standards. We all have switches in our houses and apartments and things. It's a switch. So when I don't want something, it's off. And when I'm ready to go, it's on. It's as simple as that. And you just have to tell yourself in your mind, like, you go to the store, Dana, I am off. I don't want to see anything. And if even though you might sense things coming up, I'm off. I'm off duty. You know what I mean? You just keep repeating it. And eventually what happens is when that switch mentally is off, they realize that they're like, well, I'm not getting in there. I mean, it's when it comes down.
Because I like at times it's just crazy. Like I said, crowds. It was actually it was a lot worse when Jeff and I started first dating. I remember us going to the Stranahan for a musical, and I literally could not just in the waiting to go in. It was just like blah, 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 and I was just like, I mean, I was almost in tears, and I almost wanted to say, "Can we just leave?" But I didn't. And I mean, it was that bad.
Good thing you didn't. Those were like $80.
Yeah,
tickets.
I know, and that's why, because I was like, I can't do
It's like
this.
a tool show.
But it's just crazy because you don't. It's so hard, especially, and like I said, you guys kind of know how my journey's been going, and it's just. People don't get it sometimes. Like if I have a look on my face, it's like, just don't bother me, because I'm trying to focus and not have everything back here getting at me, which happens often.
Don has a question that's related to this. I've kind of wondered this too.
Oh, and here comes Boo. Don, he's asking, when you are open, for lack of better words, do you see things, hear things, or is it more of knowing as if a thought just popped in your head? So for me, it's like for me, everything just boom, 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 booms. And then if I'm now starting to get to the point where I do start hearing, sometimes I'll hear questions pop into my head, but I've never heard that's been more recent, like more recent, like in the last couple months, that questions will pop in my head, and they're really strange questions.
Mark. Just keep going.
They're really strange questions, but they're all relating to.
What is that?
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that?
Did you guys hear that? There's
There's like a woman trying to talk right now.
Yeah. Like twice now.
Like
I
happened
heard
twice. That's why I said Mark.
The best I heard was like a hum or something, but I didn't hear.
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it was like that. That is just
We'll have to go
crazy.
back and re-listen to it.
Yeah, you're gonna have
because
to.
I heard it the second time. I'm like,
Don heard it too.
We're investigators. 3320. Look at that.
But so see, now I lose track of my thought, because that's how bad my ADHD is right now. But yeah, so I totally lost track. What was I talking
go ahead,
about?
Carmen.
You can answer
that.
Dan's question. Yeah,
Don's question.
Or Don's question. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it kind of is all of it for me, depending on what I'm doing or who's trying to communicate or whatever. If I want to see things, I'll see more. If I want to hear more, I'll hear more. And if I just want to kind of feel it out, then it's kind of like what's just in my head. But a lot of times you try to do all of it so that, you know, you get more than just one thing. So you're not like, oh, am I just making this stuff up, or can I get some sort of validation, you know?
I definitely have a go after you answer. I got a follow-up question that's really important. So
yeah, I mean, so for me, you know, and I'll be quick because it's still basically the same. I mean, you can get a little bit of everything in there, but what I get more is visual. So what they'll show me is either a still image, like a photograph, or I'll see a video, you know, something in motion or whatever, even if it's, you know, a client, you know, that they want to talk to somebody that passed over. I'll see video, but it's muted. And then every once in a while for me, I'll get the audio to snap in there where I'll actually hear some stuff, but it's more on the rare side that I can hear voices and things. It does happen. It's just super rare. I wish I heard more voices instead of having always like look at a video or look at a still image and then have to describe it, because I get, you know, we can all just, you know, you look at video or, you know, or a still image and you can describe it 1,000 different ways. So it's like, you have to just tell it for what it is and then hope that the client, you know, understands it. But then knowing, like he, you know, said, that is a thing too. You just know the answer. There's just, you know, you throw it out there, boom. It's like, well, it's this, you know, and you're not even thinking about it. It's not even a thought process. It's just there, you know, it's like, you know what 2 + 2 is. It's just there, you know? So, but yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the spirits that are trying to communicate as well, like where they're at energy wise, or if they're just learning how to communicate. It's not going to be the same as someone who, you know, you've communicated with 100 times.
So this is going to be a great learning process as I start learning how to hear people and me trying to learn how to hear them. So that's going to be interesting.
I'm definitely not trying to interrupt you because it's your show, but I do have a really important question. This one's for real. Someone I know had an experience where they communicated with a dead person, and this person came to them with it. She described it as like a skeleton with kind of a melted face, and it was a Native American kind of a gruely image. How do you, because I know, Carmen, you've told me before, but how do you prevent, because I mean, that to me, like if I really saw that in a vision or something, that would scare the shit out of me. So how do you prevent them from coming at you like that? How do you set it up? Because you've told me before how you do it.
Yeah, so basically I've had to like set a set of boundaries basically with spirit, because I used to be able to see them, like they would come to me how they passed away, either physically or visually.
Right.
And having visual is not great because you can't unsee something. And also your physical body, you don't want those kind of things being done to it to feel it. So I just kind of set up some boundaries by saying, you know, I want you to come to me as you feel you are your best. And then you can explain it to me. You can show me, you know, a lot of symbolism. You know,
so do you get that flash gory type image and then you say it and then it changes, or how does it, or do they know that about you already, that that's how they are to come to you?
Right. Because that's how I have it set up with my guides.
Okay.
Which I learned that right away from Carmen and from Adam, to set up some kind of boundary. And that's one of the first things I do. And every time I do my same thing I do every time, it's like my boundaries are, if anything's coming at me, I want it to be when they were at their most positive point in their life or in their positive. And so far that seems to be good. I haven't had anything bad happen so far. So hopefully that was good.
Give them that opportunity to like show themselves, present themselves to you as they felt the most comfortable and the most whole and alive. Then they seem a little more at ease to be able to be open with you, because they're not stuck in that visual of themselves in a bad way.
I've done a little bit, well, and just to add to it, but I mean, I've done a little bit where I'm a little bit more, you know, a little bit ambitious in some of them, especially on an investigation and things. If it's with the client and stuff like that, yeah, absolutely. I agree with Carmen. And, you know, you don't want to see them like if there was a terrible accident, you don't really want them coming to you in that state. They might show you, they might make you have you feel what they went through. But like, you know, if we're going to a location or something like that, I'm a little bit more open to what they have, because obviously if there's something that's going to help with the investigation, whether it proves some things, disproves some things, I'm okay with it. I just believe in what I have protecting me. I have, my little things of, support my guides. They're doing my things, and I got plenty of people backing me up and stuff. But yeah, I will, I'll take a little bit more of a gamble, but not a risk. I'm not doing this to where I'm going to jeopardize myself, because I do see I know when flags are starting to pop in, it's like, oh, nope, we gotta back out, or we got to change something real quickly. So, I mean, but that's a part of the process too. You can't learn all those until you've gone through some of them. But, so I'm willing to go in and get a little bit more of the gory stuff, because it's just not going to, I'm not going to let it
sometimes
bother me.
that provides the answers too.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
All right. So Adam's dad, he asked, have you ever had where you entered a building for the first time and knew where everything was at?
Yes.
It's almost like a deja vu. And do you guys have deja vu a lot?
Not so much anymore, but I think the very first one that I remembered that was so crazy, I think I was 12, and my mom took me to Florida to Disneyland or Disney World, whatever's there. And we went on that, the roller coaster where you have to go into the building and get in down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew what that was.
You knew the route, huh?
I knew it, and I was like, have I been
What was that,
here
Space
before?
Island or something?
Yeah, I mean, I have that. I mean, for me, I have that happen often, and it's been slowly not as, but I mean, I'll be doing something, I'm like, wait, didn't I just do? It's just like, or I can do it just like I know what to do with it, and it's like, and then afterwards, I'm like, wait, I shouldn't know how to do this, and it's Jeff, he doesn't like when that happens.
No,
he always does this like,
because I want to change it, because I don't remember if I die in the end.
Yeah, so it's like just crazy, and it's just like whatever.
Yeah, I stop it every time it happens.
See, I love, because like a lot of times, and granted, things have been a little bit slow with our team and stuff like that. But, what we try to do is, if I can get the, a written in permission to do remote view into their home, which I know this is, Jeff wants to talk about this at length at some time, but
so that's a whole show someday.
Right. Yeah.
But what's really cool is that the times that I've done that for the team, where I actually then physically couldn't go, but the rest of them could, because I was scheduled on something else. But it's crazy that when you say, well, there's this and that, and if you go over here and you look under here and stuff, and then when they go there and they find these things,
have they ever been able to collect evidence that you've been there remotely?
Yes. I mean, I've had people seen me, like when I do solo cases and things, so I'll remote view into their homes and stuff like that. I do absolutely everything I can to avoid the people. Yep. I know where they're sitting. I know what room they're in. I do everything I can to not go in that room. Unfortunately, I still have to go to that room when I cleanse things. Right. So I still have to be there, but I try to stay as far away. But there's been people that are empathic. They are sensitive. They can feel the energy, and they can feel what I'm doing and know that I'm in that room. Now, can they see me as if what you see now? No. But they know he's there.
Do you think in that state you could manipulate a spirit box or something like that? Because I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to try and prove that
with Carmen.
I swear to God, Carmen came out that one day.
Yeah, we were at Bowling Green.
Swear to God.
And we think that because we had a couple different things that happened, that it's like it's possible that we had that happen. So
there's a big thing. I mean, never say never out there. I mean, that's the whole point of why we all are still investigators. We
have to try that sometime, like for real, like a legit, okay, we need to do that to where I'm going to go to a place and we're going to try and get you to come there and make some of our equipment work.
Well, when I learned, and this is real short, but when I learned remote viewing, one of the things that it's once you've gotten the hang of it, there was a thing where the same, my friend who still, runs the school and everything like that. It's like, well, if you ever want to test your remote viewing, he goes, I will literally write a word or a couple words on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. I will put this somewhere in my house in an open area.
Yep.
You are more than welcome to come in and read the note. And if you read the note, you tell me what I said, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to, because I know he wants to try that. So he really wants to try that. So it's like, all right, we'll have to try that one.
Yeah.
So Rachel asked,
do we want to get to
Oh
Talis
yeah,
first?
Talis first. Has your gifts been able to help navigate relationships with alive people as well, like being more sensitive to intentions or anything?
Yes.
I mean, I really like, as a non-sensitive though, I really think like even I get vibes off of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they mean, and they may not be as clear to me as they are to you three, but you know what I'm saying? You get vibes off of people, and you do know how to interact with them. Like, you know, there's been a couple customers in my business to where it's like, you know what? I'm getting assigned, because I hate paperwork, don't do much of it, blah, blah, blah. But every once in a while, and I'm always right when I do this, I get initialized things, I get signatures, I got a real contract. And every time that I do it, I'm like, oh shit, I'm glad I did it with this person, because they always try and come back and say, well, you said this. No, you initialed right here that this is what the quote included.
Yeah, everybody is capable of doing it. It's just paying attention to it. Yeah. And then like,
but you guys got to be more open to it. You three do, I think, right?
For the most part, yeah.
It seems like every time I go with the feeling, I did right. So
yeah.
We don't talk about it as much because it's a sensitive. It is kind of sensitive, because you could think about it that you may come up, you might think of something, or you might suggest something, and that could go down a whole different path. I mean, and you know, whether it's the right way or the wrong way, but you really can shake up a whole whole nother thing.
Well, yeah. Well, like for me, I talk to how many different people in a day on the phone, and there are sometimes I'm just like, yeah, and I just am trying to get off this phone very quickly with that person, because it just really.
We'll go back to Rachel's, because this one's more relevant to what we're talking about right at the moment.
And so, I mean, people just like, because I'm like, and even like, and I train a lot of people, and I get vibes off of people like, right. And this is terrible, but pretty much every vibe I've gotten off of people, like when they've come in to train, I'm like, yeah, they're not going to last, because I'm like, they're not going to last. Sure enough, they don't last.
Especially the one that wasn't going to waste any more of her sunshine on you, mother.
Yeah.
She was out one day. I'm sick of spreading my positive energy on these MFers, and I ain't spreading my sunshine no more to these people, and I'm just out there laughing my ass off because there was no sunshine coming out of that conversation.
She actually lasted longer than I thought, but yeah, it's crazy because I at work they laugh at me because they're all like, well, what vibe do you get? They're all always, well, what kind of vibe do you get on me? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of vibe I get on you, especially if it's bad. I mean, like, oh, it's a good vibe. Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's a good vibe. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you if it's a negative vibe. Well, and actually, it's weird though. The ones that I get the negative vibe on, they don't ask me. It's all the people that I get a good vibe on. So I'm like, well, and I'm like, yeah, I get a good vibe on you. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a weird side conversation going on here. And see, Harold, sometimes like,
yeah,
if I post something on Harold's show, 9 times out of 10, it's a joke, and I don't know if he's being serious or not. But so Kate says this Edgar, whoever, his whole career was based on remote viewing. They called him the sleeping prophet. Do you guys know who he is and things like that? Because I've never ever heard his name before.
Yes.
And then Harold chimes in with, Kate, I lived in Bowling Green, Kentucky with that person, Edgar Casey. And then he said, but never lived there in the real world. So I don't know what the hell's going on in this side conversation over here, but you know. Hang on, who's chiming in? Hopefully it's one of those two. Okay, so Dawn's friends. Dawn is the one from California that went to the school with us. Her friends go to his grave sometimes.
Wow.
You want to get to Rachel's question? Or did you have another
let's
one?
go to Rachel. Rachel, I think, was the next question. Hers was, what is the best way to try to and connect to your spirit guides? Who's going first?
Okay. So,
right.
For me, having to learn my spirit guides first was huge. And it's not always an easy road because, you know, they're there from the time you're born. But once you get to start being aware of them, it's kind of hard to distinguish who's who. So like for me, I had to specifically go one by one to get to know them. and it takes a while,
Mhm.
and then you have to go back and you have to learn, they have to learn you have to learn them, so that you can communicate and form that bond and connection with them, because they've known you your whole life, but you're just now being aware of them, and you have to get that trust with them. So like just starting off by starting with like your protector and asking for a name if you want a name, and then just starting to connect with them and do little exercises with them and do meditations and all that good stuff, and just do that one by one for the guides. And that's how you start to get that relationship with them.
So how many do you have?
My belief is that we have 4 main ones.
So everybody has 4?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I believe. But then
Okay.
there's a multitude of them that come in and out as needed for situations.
Mhm.
But like my belief is the 4 main ones that are always there.
Adam, because you just recently discovered one, correct?
Well, right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
mine's a little bit different, but
Okay.
but again, everybody's start and the way they go about it and how they learned it, I mean, that's unique to them. And so there isn't a wrong answer, and there isn't,
Right.
Technically a correct answer, because we all fall within, what pertains to us in our path. So for me, because I learned a little bit more of a different way, especially with Native American stuff, there is a guide for every different aspect of life. And, we're talking like there's one for healing, there's one for, good fortunes, there's one for love, and it basically is, it's like, well, for me, even though I don't need them all, but it's like well over like a dozen or so.
Yeah.
And but again, it's the way the Native Americans did it. It was the fact that no, he's joking.
Did you kidnap some of your dads?
But that's the thing, is the ones that you need the most, because that's what you're doing in life, what your path is, what your goals are, what you're trying to be the best that you are. So those are the ones you're going to hit the most, that are going to keep pulling out and assisting you or providing for you the answers you're looking for. So the sky's the limit. But then, like, to answer Rachel's way, I mean, meditation is great. Carmen said that, and what helped me was the fact that when I took a class that we went through guided meditations that helped you start to meet some of them, or at least get you to the point where you knew where to go in your meditation to wait for them to come forward. Because when you do the class, doesn't mean they're going to come forward that day.
Right.
You guys have both talked about classes. Where are these, like, are they online classes? Where do people, because it does seem like a lot of people really want to find answers and things like that. Like, where do they go to find these classes?
Besides coming to you two, like me.
Well, eventually I would like to do classes like this.
Okay.
I think that would be really, really cool to
that would be cool, because like I said, a lot of people that I know would totally, I think, sign up for that.
Yeah. I was going to Chesterfield, Indiana. It's a spiritualist camp there. Well, it's a college, I think now, but they have like week-long, what they call seminaries, that you can go and sign up for all these classes. And that's basically what it is like presentation of mediumship. And
please tell me it's like Hogwarts. Please.
No.
I'm sorry. I need to shut up. I need to stay in a show.
Pretty close. I mean, that's one of the there.
I mean, it really, I mean, you've described it to me before. It does kind of sound like that. I mean, obviously not in a funny way, but it is like, it's definitely, you're not going there and learning algebra.
All right. And I think, weren't you guys talking about doing something next October?
Yeah.
Hopefully next
spring.
spring.
A long ways away.
Yeah, I am so excited for. I'm gonna make sure I save my time off so that I make sure I can go to the whole thing.
Is that is that when they're doing the commune thing and we're all gonna camp out? And, oh shit.
Yeah,
Jeff, you're not gonna need very many clothes, buddy.
I got a special pair of underwear that I saved just for this.
I was saying
the one doing the rope swing.
I was saying, just because I am newer to trying to find my who my guides are in that. For me, I know I do the guided meditation, and that has helped. And then Adam has gotten me to the point where I do go when I really need to start focusing in on a new, because I got one guide down pretty much that I'm very comfortable with that one. And now I'm working on a second one. But he's gotten me where I know when I really need to focus, I just go to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my grounding spot. I go to the water, and Adam sometimes will even say, you need to meditate today? And it never it's like, it never fails when he does that. And he just sends me that little message. It literally, it's like, it was a good thing I went, because I usually something new I learned from that. And there's like, and it's even like, I expand even a little bit farther than I was. And so I'm thankful for that, because and it was funny because usually I'm like, that's weird, because I was going to go do that. And so it's just kind of, that brings up another question about how weird it is that, like, I know Carmen and I will check on each other. It's like, we'll just out of the blue, like, hey, or we can actually be in the room. This happens on investigations. We'll be in the room and we just, and we're not, no, Harold sometimes was like, well, sensitive, don't talk to each other. And we just have to look at each other. Yeah. And we just like have to look at each other, and we know exactly what the other one is thinking. But I think a lot of people don't realize, like, that happens a lot, like with Carmen and I know Adam, sometimes I can get a vibe off of him, like, but it's not quite, but I don't spend as much time in person with Adam as I do Carmen. But it's like, yeah, when you get together and that, or I remember the first time that all of us were in the same spot, Carmen's daughters were there, and Adam was there
as well.
Huh?
Her daughters are gifted
yeah,
as well.
And so when all of us it was like this big spark of energy. It was just like this. And ever since then, it's like, but whenever we get, it's like the energy, it's just so like, I mean, I like it when I come in contact with you guys in person, because it's just like, it's so much energy, and it's always positive. I mean, it's always, of course, positive energy. So it's like almost like building blocks with it. But I know that does help if you know that you're in a positive state, and then somebody just reassures you, like Adam doing that, like, you need to meditate. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, so that seriously
with the grounding too. I mean, me and Jenna had a conversation recently, because Jenna was, goes through some anxiety sometimes and stuff. And I said, look, Jenna, you're going to think I'm nuts. I know it's cold out. It was a few weeks ago when it first got cold out, it was 30, 40 degrees at night. And I said, just do this. Take your shoes off, go outside and walk around in the grass for a little bit and take some breaths. I said, I promise you, it sounds stupid, but it will get rid of your anxiety. And I don't think she did it, but like, I mean, there is a lot of truth to that grounding thing. I mean, I've done it before myself, and it's
even cleansing yourself in the rain.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one is a good one. The snow walk. And I am going to do the snow walk this year. I am so excited for the first snow this year. And so I'm waiting for that. But the cleansing of the rain, I mean, that one is a good one. Anytime really in nature is really a good grounding. But I just know that it really, I think that's the best way, is once you get yourself grounded, and then you can start start that meditation and finding those spirit guides. And I know Rachel said something about can't meditate during the day. Yes, you can, because I meditate at work. I take 5 minutes and I just sit there and meditate for 5 minutes, and it gets me back on track. And I work in a busy office, and I can hear everything around me, but I still do it.
It sounds like she's talking about that deep, long meditation. But I got a quick story.
But even 5 minutes, you can really start. 5 minutes can get you to where you need to be to start learning where your spirit guides are. Because that's what I did, and that's how I'm getting to where I need to be.
And if you really are strapped for time, I crap you not.
The bathroom.
In the bathroom, because you got to do your business anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So just go in there, close your eyes, get comfortable, and just start breathing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you got a couple minutes, and that's all you really need. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, 30 minutes or more. I mean, I understand we are strapped for time, but find those little moments that, I mean, if you're sitting there, don't look at your phone, put your phone down, or leave it in your purse, leave it in your pocket, and just close your eyes. You can do it.
I prefer to go outside and touch a tree.
Yeah. Well, and she even said about doing the guided sleep meditation at night. That's how I started my meditation, with the guy, and Jeff can't stand it because he has weird nightmares. I said, "What if you do it?" I said, "It gets better if you do it."
When she plays that shit at night.
Yeah, but
crazy.
I found that that's the first way I first finally got in tune to, was because it guided me to the way I needed to go, and now when I really know I need to start focusing again, if I can listen for a couple of nights and it gets me right back on track. But also Adam has a great way too, is focusing on numbers, and you start at a certain number and you start counting backwards and concentrate on your breath. That is a really good way to meditate at night too, to go, and you do sleep a lot better. I do sleep a lot better with that. But I also wake up more refreshed, and even because now I actually started to tweak this a little bit, because I asked for my white light to open up and my spirit guides to come into me. And then I start that countdown, and it's like, because I think, I don't know if I told him I did tell him about where I see when I close my eyes, I now see that white light on the sides, and it's actually getting bigger the more I've been doing that now. So it's not just that little tiny, it's like starting to expand. So it's just, you got to find what works for you.
I handle things much different personally. I have dreams that I am in real life Call of Duty with the G.I. Joe characters, and we're literally attacking Russia and China in real life.
I told him, though, he doesn't understand, because when I first started doing the guided meditation, I had like horrible dreams the first 3 nights I did it. But I said, it's just basically them trying to get you not to open up. That's all it is. So if you have those crazy dreams, continue what you're doing, because you're going to get past it. They're just trying to stop you and scare you off from opening up. And 100%. He thinks I'm crazy. And I'm like, 100%. It's not. Because even like if I stopped for a while doing my night meditation, and as soon as I started back up, I started having horrible dreams again for like 3 nights. And then after night 3, I continued to do it, and it doesn't happen anymore. So it's like, they know, it's like, all right, she's not going to give in, and we're not going to get her. So it's just let her open up, and it works. So
Debbie's.
And real quick, they said, when I learned it, this isn't legit, but it's the concept of it to just get you to be like, oh, so they always said for us, you were going to have the demons of distraction. No, they're not real demons, but there is things that want to prevent you from moving forward on your path. It's just like anything, if you really want to be good at screwing in a screw, you got to practice it. It's just not, you push it to the side, it doesn't go in right. You have to do it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it seems, simple, but it's just one of those things you have to stick to it. Don't vary off of it.
I definitely found that when I was going to church a lot and stuff. Like anytime that I decided, okay, I'm going to go, like, I'm going to pray for a half an hour. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dude, the phone rings. The wife and kids start acting up. I mean, every possible thing that could happen. Like and that's what the church called it too. I mean, and they weren't talking about literal demons, but
right.
The demons will, try and distract you, and they try and get you to go out of focus. And it's, but you just got to push through and do it.
Yep. Adam and I had a conversation kind of along the same lines about how, there's a lot of people in the world that, bully and whatever, make fun of you or whatever, just because they don't understand it. They're not ready to go forward with that path. So they kind of try to put you down for it. But those are the kind of people that are also going to try to stop you from growing as well.
Yeah,
that's life in general. People people bully you if they don't understand it. That's just the way.
Yeah, everybody always thinks at work that I'm like a hippie. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I said some are. Yeah, exactly. Like some are. Some people may be more hippie. Some people are more like ground and just everything's natural. I'm like, I'm starting to lean more to going back to everything natural again. Like, do you know?
Not that natural deodorant though. That
no, can't do that. But just, doing things more and so it just, he's got to do his usual stop. And so, but it just cracks me up when people say that I'm a hippie. And then, of course, then they said, but what about your friend Adam? I'm like, no, he's not. I don't know why they thought, I'm like, because somebody at work saw your picture and they're like, what about that guy Adam? Isn't he kind of hippie-ish? I'm like, no, Adam is not hippish at all. Nope. I'm like, why they even came up with, I don't know, but so it just kind of cracks me. I know, right? I'm like, it's just so fun. And
that's
but
what's
it's
great
funny.
about it. I can distract people with the look.
Yeah,
and it's not who I am inside.
No.
Because anybody that's ever come and talked to me, their attitude completely shifts. Like, there's this like, kind of like, mean biker kind of thing. And it's like, then they sit down, they're like, whoa, there's a little bit more to this than I thought. And it's like, that's the way it is. So
Rachel's son said that Adam looks like a wizard. It is true.
I was talking to my friend about that earlier in our conversation, the one that I had the 2-hour conversation with, because he's very much into the spiritual and mediumship and all natural stuff. And he does a lot of Instagram pictures. And it's always like his vegetables that he grew and his plants and his crystals. But like if you were to see him, you would think he's like some punk heavy metal guy with tattoos.
But that's what I'm finding a lot anymore. A lot of people that I know that are like mediums and sensitives and empaths, a lot of them, like you would think that they're punk rockers, and they're just, I don't think I look any hippie. I don't think I look like I'm a hippie at all. I don't do everything like, no, I'm not like always like going to Whole Foods and having to buy organic stuff. I'm not like that. So it just kind of cracks me up that people always think that it's a hippie thing. It's like, it's not.
Right. Well,
not at all.
And that's the thing is that when I tell people that, because I've had more, my journey has been more Native American based, they're like, nobody said it to my face until long after the fact that when it finally gotten on the subject, but they're like, oh, he's doing peyote all the time. And I'm like, I've never even been around it. So I'm like, and people don't realize that was a drug that you can, a natural drug that you can take that actually it helps you assist to the spirit world, if you will.
Yeah.
But that was something natives did on their vision quest. And that's a whole nother topic, but like I've never even been around it, so I can't even say I even know what it looks like up close. but I, and they all think that too. When you do this kind of stuff, that you got to obviously be doing some sort of, drugs and things. It's like, no, I don't need to. It does. There's no need for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Debbie is asking, is it possible to lose your physical balance when you're around a large group of healers and sensitives? That's happened to me at the past couple paranormal conventions I've gone to.
And I had a related question to that. Like, do you really feel, because there's a lot of evil imagery and things like that at paranormal conventions? So how do those affect you guys as well as answering Debbie's question? Yeah, look behind us.
See, this will be perfect because this was, and Debbie, I met Debbie for the very first time this past Sunday.
Oh, okay. I've not met her yet. She's watched this a few times. I'd like to meet her.
And you guys know me, and this is great because I want to do this even publicly because this is great. So this is kind of goes along with what she's saying a little bit too. But what did I do when I knew who she was. Like, even with, I knew this was Debbie. Even though I've never met her, and you can see a little, her profile pic and stuff like that. Yep. But she come walking up to me, and what did I do? Being the hilarious comedian I am, I started like backing away, so there was like this weird off balance thing that I did, but it was only because I knew who she was, and it was a joke, but at the same time she felt bad because she thought like I was like,
she knocked you out.
Right. And so I had to explain to her later on. I'm like, no, we're good. I said, I was just having fun because I knew who you were, and it was finally good to meet you. But the point was, the whole thing of when you're getting to meet people, or you're around a lot of other spiritual people and other metaphysical, practitioners and things, you can, if you're sensitive to it, you're empathic to their energies, you can get like, in a way, a natural high off of things, which can throw you off balance. A holistic fair is a paranormal convention is one thing, but if you go to a holistic fair, I love holistic fairs, and I don't get to go to that much, but oh my gosh, when everybody's finally in there and right before the doors open, you swear that the roof's going to blow off because of all the energy that's going on, but in a good way.
Right.
So it is amazing to be in those situations. And even then, I'll let Carmen go. But Jeff, then to finish up with your part of the thing, yeah, you got a lot of teams there. They're showing a lot of evidence, or they're bringing items and things of that sort that they've had. Yeah, it certainly adds a whole nother level to the whole thing. So you got this little mix mash of things. You've got all these investigation kind of things and this evidence, or these things they're showing on their videos, like on their computers. And then you got holistic people that are doing all their things. They're doing readings, they're doing tarot, they're doing, massages and things. So you've got this kind of a little bit of, not so much of attention, but you just got all this
a balance almost, maybe.
Right.
I mean, because it's like I said, there's horribly graphic images at those conventions.
I know there's some, like, I can be in some areas when we go to places and I get uncomfortable, but then I can walk like 2 steps or 2 feet away and I'm fine. It's just whatever in that area. It just, I sometimes feel bad when you're going like booth to booth and you like just skip over one, because they kind of look at you and I'm like, I'm sorry. I just feel like saying, I'm sorry, but the energy just does not hit me right now. Maybe I'll come back and it will work, but it isn't right now. So
especially
your crystals and your witchcraft books, they just don't match.
I get like that with paintings. Like sometimes I have to just not look at them. I have to walk by them because you can totally pick up. Well, yeah. No,
did you go to that art museum exhibit, Carmen?
Oh my gosh.
The paranormal art. Oh, okay.
It wasn't it wasn't a paranormal.
But I mean, maybe someone like her though might have had a better experience.
Yeah.
I like going to the museum just to feel the paintings that are there, like the old ones.
Yeah.
They're really cool. Yep. But yeah, the paranormal conventions it's a hit or a miss for me. Either I'm in there just to have fun and completely turned off of my things for the day, or I go in and I want to see what everybody's all about, Which is weird because like Adam said, you got both ends, the skeptics and the ones who are like, this is what I got,
Yep. So I'm not like, I mean, I call myself a skeptic in the way that like your mediumship. We've talked about it for a long time. Like I want to somehow prove that on some kind of audio or video device, like the remote sessions. It just blew my mind. No, like, you know what I'm saying though? Like I want to, and it's not like the, put you on display and, look what I got. I got a medium friend that can do this magic shit. Like, it's like, I really want to prove like, okay, this guy says he can remote. Here's proof that he can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we definitely have to do that experiment sometime.
We will.
Cool.
Yeah, that Carmen and I have been telling Jeff that he doesn't realize that he's a little more sensitive than, and Adam, you probably know too.
See, I'm a lot like Harold though. Like for some reason, I'm not afraid of it. I just don't pursue it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But I do think I'm sensitive. I just don't, for some reason, I don't pursue it. I don't know why. I
keep trying, guys. I keep trying. He just does not.
Crazy ass dreams you make me have by listening to that goofy stuff.
Why? I mean, well, we do sometimes. We haven't done it in a while, but we do, because we've done, and Carmen knows about this. When we first started dating, we did this thing about touching each other's hands, and I would try to
and send a word.
And I actually have been able to do that, and it's just like Jeff's like, well,
we've both done that a couple times.
Yeah,
actually.
but now and then the second time he did, and it's like, so we're getting in tune with it.
It's weird too. It seems to work like whatever the first word is. Then I don't know. After that, we're trying too hard because it doesn't work after the first one.
Yeah, so we get one out of it, and then we try a second time and it doesn't. And like the reversing it, it's like we do it one time, then we've learned just stop, because then it doesn't. But we're that in tune with each other. But it's weird how I don't know, but we will think sometimes the same thing.
Your logical minds are now kicked in, and you've stopped being, because you didn't know what.
That's my problem. My logical mind kicks in,
and that's what a lot of what we do is that we push the logical side of our minds away, is because that's the only way the other stuff comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how I was taught how to do a reading. Basically, is by someone saying, "Okay, male or female, tall or short, color of the skin," and whatever just came is what you say.
Yeah. Okay. And I know Carmen has, like with tarot cards, Carmen has gotten me where we don't do them like how the directions tell you. It's like you put that card down, and what are the first three things you see, or what are the first three things that come to you when you look at that card?
Yep.
And I've done that with Carmen. I've done it with other people, and it's like, and they've been, I mean, it actually the majority of the time, it's like, wow, these people are like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. So I kind of, I haven't played with them for a while. Maybe I have to get them out again. I haven't played with them for a while. But I know, but that was one of the first things Carmen, I think Carmen was really excited about that the first time we ever did that, because we were at her house and she was like, let's play with cards. I was like, okay. And then she brought, and it's like, she did mine and then I did hers, and she was just like, okay, this was, I think that was her little spark of, aha.
I knew there was something about you.
Yeah, right. But that's a thing too. People don't realize, like, Carmen and I like clicked, like the first time we met, we clicked immediately, and it was just like boom. I mean, and it's just getting better and better all the time.
Well, I think one thing too, like my experience is this: for the most part, people that are truly sensitive or mediums or psychics or something like that are generally just nice people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you two both, like. People, you guys are both the type, nice, like if you don't like Adam or Carmen, you better look into your own life, because you probably have a problem. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You guys just are likable automatically, if that makes any sense. And I think a lot of like sensitive people are.
I hate you, Jeff.
See, I think that's funny though.
When you come to my house dressed as Krampus, please, once.
Yeah. Oh,
hey, Jeff, can I have my key back?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was epic. That was the best damn toast I've ever seen in my life.
My nephew's gonna steal that.
I wish we had that on videotape.
I do too. I wish that was on video too.
If we would have known, we would have had my nephew or somebody get it out and videotape it. But my nephew down the road, eventually, whenever one of his friends finally decides to get married, that he is probably going to use that, because it was so priceless.
And Harold, if you're still watching, I did tell Becky to keep that key. So just messing. I love that dude to death. Oh.
All right, so I am going to now let Jeff his because we're over an hour now. I will let Jeff ask the question he's been wanting to ask all night.
This character Jeff's been asking questions all
I
night.
know.
In the chat.
Just scroll through and find him again.
I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna ask it tonight, because it's definitely a 15-minute at least conversation, I think. But I want to talk about a specific case. Do we want to get into Maxwell tonight or not? Because I know both of you guys had, and the reason I'm asking is I'm finally starting to do the documentary, and I'm looking at the timeline and watching the old videos.
Stuff that he didn't know.
Yeah, there was interesting. Carmen, did you know that they found a freaking chicken foot on a voodoo board in that house?
In the basement?
Yeah.
No, but
I never heard that before.
I had thought about that too. I didn't know they actually found one.
Yeah.
So when I was down in the basement, like, I think that's been one of my past lives, was like some sort of voodoo priestess or something.
Okay.
So, like, I felt that kind of energy there. And like, that was what was so confusing about that house, because it was constantly changing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't understand, because I knew the people that lived there. And I'm like, I don't think they would do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it was like, how I explained it to everybody in the team was, it felt like a truck stop, like just constant flow in and out, you know? And then when I was down in the basement, there was like, I say a portal, because that's what it felt like, in that back end of the basement. And that's where I was picking up like that weird, like voodoo energy. And that I had no idea they found a chicken foot. So,
okay. For the record, I want to know where you specifically think they found that, because I need to talk to the owner of that house and like, because like I said, that's the first time I've heard of that story, and I'm trying to put this documentary together, and I want to know what you're saying, where you think that was found. And I want to see if I'll talk to him and see if that's where it was found.
I think I know where I think it was at, but I'll tell.
And I think I do too, but I could be dead wrong.
I'll do mine separate.
Go ahead, Carmen, you first, then Adam.
Okay. So I think it is in that back corner in the basement. I don't know.
If you're looking at the washer and dryer,
to the left.
To the left of that. Okay. That's where I think too.
That's where I'm at too. Adam, you've been there, so we.
I think I know where Adam thinks that the portal is.
Yeah.
Or was.
And that's funny because where I think he thinks it is, I always got a cold feeling when I was standing there. Like I felt like, know how when you're standing by a subway or like a train and that goes by and you get that cold, like that's like the coldness that felt. And I think it's in the same area that Adam thinks the portal is.
What
mine was to the right.
To the right of the Western Drive. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So actually though, Carmen, do you feel the same way too? Or do you think the portal, because we were talking about that voodoo board with the chicken foot. Where do you think the portal was? Because you had, and actually Uncle Jeff, I think, came up with a thought of where he thought it was too. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, I think me and Uncle Jeff had it at the same place, which was to the left.
Okay, so it's weird because I think the chicken foot and all that was to the left, but the portal to the right. Isn't that crazy? So, and I was like, well, Adam came in after I
Starting
did.
to sound like the hokey pokey.
I know, right? Because I know Carmen and that you guys were there before me, and then Adam was there after I went in, and I only went in twice. So,
well, I've always said this about that case. Like Adam, you're the last one that did a cleansing there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had been there for 72 hours. We did this big investigation and caught concrete evidence as to who we thought was in there. And so Adam comes in and says, it's this person, this person, and this person. He didn't say 20 different people and 3 were the same ones that we had verified. You said the same 3 that we did. And you had no knowledge of, and I know you and the owner connected that day.
Yeah.
And you guys said, me and Harold actually left because you guys were doing your own thing. And it's like, there's some things you just don't, I don't need to capture it on video. No. You guys have to have your moment stuff. So, but anything else about that case that stands out to you that was unique? Because it seems like that house gets cleansed, then it's good for a little bit, and then it blows up again.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for me, because obviously I've stayed in contact with the owner, still
Good.
to this day.
Good.
And, whether he's, still withholding things, but there's only been 1 or 2 other times that he's contacted me on something a little odd, but it wasn't to the same level or degree that was before the day I did the cleanse. Uh-huh. So, and I'm not going to go into the stuff that I, did additionally, right. But like I said, it wasn't to the same degree as what was there before. So, now the owner himself, is a little bit on the open side. So that definitely plays a huge factor. Because obviously, he's like a lot of us mediums, you're a beacon, you're a lighthouse in a sea of darkness, and everything is going to come check you out. So, it's not uncommon for other things to then now show up. You know what I mean? So we can all do any one of us can shut down the stuff, get rid of things, but it doesn't mean that something brand new doesn't come around, the next week. So, but the way I look at it is that, if we had a chance to, and I say we is because you guys did so much more than I did, we all, had a huge part in it, and, we all did enough to where we finally got some, closure to the point where it wasn't to the intensity that was going on, for a long time. So,
and that's the thing too, that house, it's a constant battle. That house, I don't think is ever going to go completely quiet. Like I know there's some cases where you can evict a spirit or something like that and it's gone and everything's good. Not that house. It's maintenance all the freaking time. And it, and it gets worse, and then it goes quieter, and then it gets worse, and it's just been that way for, Togs has been involved with that for 10 years, and I think it's in the upswing activity phase again right now. If it's just crazy. Harold thinks it's ley lines. What do you guys think about that or know about that?
It absolutely could be. Yeah. Energy is everywhere.
What exactly are ley lines?
Well, I know there's I mean, I can't remember the exact definition of it, but there's a set of lines that run all over the world, and a lot of them all crisscross with each other and things. But they're
Okay.
what do they call it? Geometric lines or something like that. But essentially, I mean, you look at it as sort of like a you know
An
a
energy grid.
right, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's an actual
just-
physical thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not like, you know, the energy that we put out in the world. It's an actual physical energy source, like a
Right.
crystal or
Right.
you know, limestone or, you know, something like that.
lots and lots of cases that have ever been documented, whether they've been on TV or whether
Yep.
they've been privately, like, what Toes has done. There's things that, when you look at the lines and you look at where they get through or they're really close to, that just kind of throws up a flag that that's a good possibility, because we all know that, those lines, can easily fuel something that we just can't
And
always see.
that area is a hot spot.
Is
like,
there
at
any
times.
website that shows, like, I mean, has anybody ever kind of like mapped these out
I
and
think
put it on to where you can see where the ley lines go? And
I think
You
there's
think so?
a special website you can go check out.
Yeah. I mean, even if you just put ley lines in just a Google search,
yeah,
you can just see them in a broad sense throughout the entire world and just go,
Yep.
continent by continent. But,
Right.
obviously zooming in, you're going to find the ones that are a little bit more specific to see, where they're running through the state. But, you look at North America, you can kind of see where they're running and you can kind of look close enough to know where we are and stuff. But yeah, you there's plenty of sites that'll get you a basic understanding.
so Harold's saying that yes, there's sites you can go to, and he says some are different. So
Sure. Oh yeah.
Debbie's
says-
saying that monuments have been built on them, like the pyramids and things like that. So it's that's and she also said too a couple minutes ago, that's a whole nother show. I mean, there's so much. That's why I've had you guys on, within the last, I don't know, 7-8 months, but I wanted to have you guys on again because
He wanted me to do a show.
not only that, but seriously, we could do 4 or 5 weeks easy and not touch on everything that people want to hear about. It's just, and you guys are definitely a great, I tell people this all the time. I trust 2 mediums and they're both on the screen right now. And that's it. I don't trust any other ones because they're not verified. You know what I mean? But you guys are both verified to me. And, so Chris McKinnell was on last week. He said his grandmother, was accurate 70% of the time.
Sure.
What do you guys think is that a general, oh shit, don't let her go there. What do you think your accuracy rating is? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but is that a good, because you got to be wrong sometimes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say 70% is fantastic.
That's a pretty high number. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and even then, there's a lot of times where the information comes out and nobody has a clue what it is. Now, where did the information come from? Was it from the same source that you were already just talking to? Was it a joke? You know what I mean? But it doesn't seem like a joke, but it just throws people off. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of times where I tell people, I give them information. Sure, right enough. They can say, yes, I understand what that means. And then there's others that don't. And I always say, well, hold on to it just for the fact that you might think of something or you might come across it. So is that a right. non-hit or what? I don't know. But, sometimes I get told, it is a hit. And then sometimes they're like, months later and I never hear anything. So I have no idea. Yeah. But we can only provide what comes out. But, you just share what
here's another story too, real quick, about the Bowling Green School. So I'd say 2 years ago, a popular medium in Toledo that's well-known, does readings, does shows, does things like that, made a pretty crazy accusation to me that I thought at the time, because I said, what's haunting this place, blah, blah, blah. And what she said, and I'm not going to reveal it because I better have some proof to back this up. You know what I'm saying? So it was a crazy, outrageous accusation to me. And I thought she's just dead wrong on this one. Well, the last time I went there with Harold, we added another piece to that puzzle. So now I'm starting to think, okay, maybe she's tapped into something that nobody else has. I mean, and I think mediumship works that way a lot. I may tell you something, you may think it's wrong. but like you said, keep it in your closet because you might need it someday.
Yeah,
And
like,
that's something, yeah, that's something I know that Carmen and I do on investigations. We'll both have something, but we won't say anything. And later it comes out and then it's like, oh yeah, no. So I mean, sometimes it does, but even with this, because even what the dogs are going crazy. Because even with what he's talking about at the school, it's from what we've been told by this other, and then now it's just like, I mean, even, but knowing that, just when you go in there, it seems like areas you go to seem to be more drawn to you now. And then now it's like, have you guys ever had that happen where when you get a piece of information, then you go back into somewhere and then you seem to be drawn to a different area that you weren't drawn to before? Because I know that happens there now since we've had that information given to us. It's like, it seems like I just really seem to different spots now.
Yeah. And Dawn was there like the one time, and like I said, with Adam went with us, and then we went there the week later with the Owens field trip. And Carmen, it's been a while since you've been in that school, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Are you anxious to get back in there again? And
I do.
Because I really think, like I said, I've been working. That's one. Okay. So I've got 3 documentaries that I have done a shit ton of research, a boatload of, B-roll, but that is a place that there's no like cohesive story yet. And the last couple times that I've been there, just really honest to God, added to that story. You know what I'm saying? So it's, my documentaries, when they're done, they'll be done. You know what I'm saying? There's no, and this one isn't done yet, but in the last 6 months or so, I've made headway into the finished product
for certain
for that
ones.
place.
Yeah. There's one that will take him forever to get finished,
Yeah.
but that one, because we opened up some major wormholes with that one. So now it's like, we have to go and we have to investigate.
That one's probably the one that I've got the most actual research. Like I've spent 100 hours at the library.
And I've even done stuff.
Just,
I've even been doing research for that one for him. I mean, I help him with some, but a lot of them I just let him do. But that one actually intrigues me. And it's like the more we dig, the more we find, which leads you a totally different route. So that one's been really crazy. So
we should probably, so we've been an hour and a half. There's definitely more stuff I want to ask, but it's probably, people are starting to say goodnight and drop out, and we've probably run our course tonight.
Yeah, but woohoo, our show lasted longer with me hosting than him.
Oh shit.
Just saying.
So, I guess I'm the producer now. I just won't be a host anymore. I'm done. I quit.
You're the tech guy.
That's right, yeah. So I had to adjust the microphone stand for the diva.
That's right. So now, but the only thing is now he's going to make me have to do this. So then I'm going to have to research when I have hosts if I have to.
No, but I think it's the reason I wanted Dana to kind of host the show more than me is because she is sensitive more than I am. And it's, and you 3 definitely have a connection, so I figured, what the hell can I do?
See, and it worked. Look at.
But this too, honestly, was the first. Like, I normally get nervous before a show. Tonight, I was not nervous at all. Like, I mean, because you guys are friends.
But he knew I could handle it. He knew I could take control.
So I didn't prepare. It's horrible. I didn't roll out the red carpet like I did last week.
Well, he was getting mad because before the show started, I asked him what his questions were, and he goes, "Well, I don't want to tell you." I said, "Well, I need to know because I'm hosting the show." And he's like, "Whoa!" And then he told me the one I said. And he told me the first one he wanted. I said, "That's got to be at the end of the show because that will take up the whole show if we ask it at the beginning of the show, and it's my show to be hosting." So no. He goes, "Well, what about you?" I said, "I got my questions."
Yeah,
I said, "Not all of them are
here.
Tonight. There's some up here too." What'd you say?
I said, "You definitely pulled some rank cards tonight."
I did.
Well, your Busha says, "Good job tonight."
Oh, and my Busha, no, that's my mom.
Yeah, well, she's Busha.
Oh, she is Busha, but
AKA Paulette. We don't know who Paulette is, but she's somewhere in the mix.
Yeah, she's in there. So yeah, because Jeff doesn't know her name by Paulette.
No, this is a true story. So the first year that I was around, we did the Christmas, Secret Santa thing. You draw a name. So I got this name, and I'm like, I asked Dana, I'm like,
Is this a cousin?
who the hell is this Paulette person?
Is it a cousin
I
or
didn't know
somebody
who
that
I didn't know who
meet?
it was, because she's always been Busha since day one. Like, so
So now it's just a joke. It's well, and my sister, her name's not Tia. Her name's Lisa, but we call her Tia because that's what the girls call her is Tia. But then I'm Tootie because that's what my nephew calls me is Tootie. So it's like we don't go by our real names very often. It's like
they're all nuts.
yeah. So it's Busha, Tia, and Tootie. So it's like we don't go by our real name. So
Oh, I can't wait to hear Jeff's new name.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
probably mints or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Peppermint.
See, Carmen laughs at the mints because she knows about the mints.
All right, see you later. Bye.
Yeah. All right. So since Jeff always has a hard time ending the show, I will end the show.
We're gonna let
tonight.
Dana end this show tonight. Wrap it up.
That's right.
Go.
So we will be back next week and don't know who we will have on the show yet, but we'll do some promos probably early in the week to find out who we're going to have on. And we'd like to thank Adam and Carmen for coming on. And just remember, Adam does have a show on Saturday morning that he does on his Adam the Black Swap Medium, which is always pretty cool. A lot of times I go back and watch the replay because I can't catch it live. And Carmen is going to be, she's always open if you want to do the Reiki or the massage or readings.
Carmen, plug your business real quick.
Yeah, so I have Carmen Kosmider LMT, which is on Facebook, and I'm starting Natural Ability, which is a bunch of natural products and fun stuff, a lot of herbal things.
Which I'm excited for.
Yay.
Yeah.
And she's a good artist.
Yes, she is a good artist. We have
You
something
can't really
that
see it back there,
no,
but that
it's
was
back
a cool
there, but
wedding
we
gift.
did that was
Thank
part
you.
of our wedding, one of our wedding gifts, and of course we have the skeletons up there in our little boxes.
We won't tell you what Tyler did with the skeletons.
I
but-
saw
yeah,
the
no,
picture.
yeah. I don't think I showed Adam. I'll have to send you the picture, Adam. It's quite funny. All right, so we are going to be going, and then tune in until next week, and we will see you then.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Bye.